Yes, I have a very long braid because I have very long hair, and I'm trying this new little setup where I kind of prop the phone camera up. You know what? This is so funny. I know that our phones have cameras, but still in 2020, I still think of, like, when I think of a camera, I still think of like a separate camera. But now we have these tiny little phones. They do everything for us. They take pictures, they video, they let us go online. The only thing is, I still like to have an actual computer to do like editing or to work on blogs, or even if you do school projects, work projects. I think having your own computer and internet access, you actually save a lot of money. And like, some people don't agree with me, but this is why. Because I see people scrambling all the time. Like, first off, I guess if you drive, maybe like you don't think it's a waste of your money, but you're driving from location to location to location using your gasoline and your car to find public places where you can use the computer. And I've just always thought, well, wouldn't you save money if you just got, I don't know, like a basic computer, like a Chromebook, and a really basic internet connection? Because these things actually could be more affordable. Like, there are people, they'll spend, I don't know, like $1,000 on the latest smartphone, but then they're scrambling to get from one public location to another to use a public computer or to use Wi-Fi with their laptop. And I just always think, wouldn't it be more comfy and efficient to work from home? Because I was never the kind of person that thought, oh, I need to get out to like study and work. Because I tried that for a while when I was in college, like, oh, I need to leave the house. And I always found that later when I did that, I didn't feel as comfy. Because here's the thing, I like being able to go to the bathroom and feel comfy and make myself a cup of coffee. And I can discipline if I'm in school, or if I really need to do a project, I can discipline myself to the hilt lands and back to like get it done. I don't, like, I can push myself. Like, if I need to get something done, I just need to do that all the time. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to get more things done. But I just like, I need to start pushing myself to get these things done. And when I do, I get the result I want. But I just need to do that all the time with everything. Like, I guess I just would feel more burning urgency if it was something I had to do for like someone else. But then if it's like something I have to do for me, like, oh, reorganize the bottom of my closet, like, it just doesn't have that burning urgency in my mind, you know? But I can if I want. So I don't think it's always better to like work from other places on your projects. I think sometimes just having a simple computer and Wi-Fi or internet at home could save you money in the long run. You're not scrambling, you're not driving around town, you know? But anyway, that's just my take on it. Our towel, get the towel. I was noticing this towel was not nice, organized. The Aladdin towel. It's so funny. Here's another thing I want to talk about, like supplemental income. There are certain types of jobs or gigs or things that a person might do, and these might not really be things that you could ever put on your resume. And I feel like maybe there's just something about me that's not like everybody else. And I've kind of come to this conclusion. Like, I always loved academic learning. I love learning about history and culture. But I don't know, like, everybody's always talking about what can you put on your resume, like what looks really good. I'm beginning to think I'm different than a lot of people because, like, I've always been this way for a long time, but if I can earn some money doing like a supplemental thing, and it's really not something I can put on my resume, I'm more of a practical sense that, you know, that actually brings me happiness because I don't feel like I need this really amazing resume or these, okay, like in the academic world, the business world, some people, they're they're very invested in like what they can put on that paper, how good it looks, they can get this position. And I'm thinking, it's not that I don't care about my resume. I think these are good things, but that's not what drives me at the end of the day. I would rather like find some things that are supplemental to do on the side to make some extra money. And those are probably not things that I'm gonna put on my resume, probably like ever. I don't think they're things I'm gonna tell everybody about that I know in my personal life. Like honestly, I would love, like the other day I got approached by some hairband company that said they were gonna send me free hairbands. They never responded back, but I would love to do more like sponsorships about hair products and things like that, and that would never bother me. But I'm beginning to realize I'm different than other people because everybody's always talking about how they need to do this to make their resume look good, or they need to improve their credentials, or they just like that's something that they really need. But I guess I'm just more of a practical sense that I don't think money is everything, okay? But I just like to find ways to make extra money to improve my living lifestyle so I can afford to do things, and I will push myself to do that. But these might not all be things I could put on my resume. I don't think so. Well, for instance, for example, when I used to do hub pages, I knew right away, like I could read those ads and I could say right off the bat, that's supplemental income. That's not something that's going to be like a job. Like a lot of people, they used to say when they wrote on these websites like hub pages that was their job. I never put that as my job. When I created my own blogs, I did say I worked there because I wanted to promote my blog, but it's not like I knew that that was my primary source of income. It was just at that time, I really, truly, and I do want to get back into this, and people who have criticized me, like I got criticized so heavily recently for being into wanting to do blogs and things like that, like somebody saying I should do less of that and I should do something else, which made me think, when it got to that point, I realized this person had no value for me at all, and I just was like, okay, goodbye. Like that person basically like discredited everything I did, which is fine. They don't really know me, and they don't have to know me, and if they don't want to do the things I do, they don't have to. But during that time period when I was just doing creative things, I was really enjoying myself, like in my free time. But here's a lot of things. People, they're always putting in their time and their energy into finding another form of income, something they can do. But I really do want my blogs and my side projects to earn money and more. So I've decided at this point, these might not be things that society deems appropriate to put on your resume, but that's okay, because I'm going to probably stop sharing with other people my thoughts on this. I'm not going to tell other people about it anymore, but I'm going to start working to find a way to make like these supplemental incomes like work better for me. And I feel like now I'm starting to see some breakthrough. And on my other channel, my first channel, I probably will post art things again, but honestly and truthfully, I just do less of that because it is a lot of work, and people want a certain kind of video for that format. So if I'm doing something about an art project, it's going to be less often that I'm posting on that particular channel. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just I have a lot of content on my old channel anyway that people could watch from the past, things that I've created over the years. So it's not that there isn't content there, it's just when it comes to new content, like I kind of like just doing my vloggy hair things here, and I will push myself to start working on these things, but I do it as time allows. But my whole goal is I am going to start working my art projects, my t-shirts, and all my little things again, and making this a supplemental income for myself, sharing that I do this on the side. It's probably not something that, you know, some people probably look down upon it, but I decided I don't care anymore, because do I make some money doing it? Do I have fun doing it? Is it a hobby that actually finances me and makes me feel good? Yeah, it does. Could I make some more money if I went off and found this high, I don't know, like a higher paying career, like with the time, like if I had like a second gig or something? But here's the thing. A lot of people I talk to are just not happy doing that. Like some people are. Some people really, if you're really extroverted, some people really love that extroverted, being out of the house, doing those things. But for me, that wouldn't make any sense because first off, I don't drive, and in California, it's such a car-centric culture. So a lot of things revolve around driving, leaving the house, going to many different locations. So I wouldn't want to spend my extra time having a second gig that way, working for somebody else. Whereas I have all these creative ideas. So I decided I don't think I can put anything, my interest, my passion in long hair, my interest in art. These are not things I can put on my resume because resumes at the end of the day are a human creation. Yes, I know in society you need a really good resume to have like these second gigs and whatnot. But I personally don't feel like I need that to make myself happy. Like I just want to make some extra money doing things that make me happy. It might not be super consistent all the time. But the trade-off is I'm not leaving the house to do these things. I can do it from home. I'm a little bit more on the introverted side. I'm not super extroverted. I'm working for myself. I'm just doing things that I find fun. Like I am going to start researching more like what things are trending, what people might like, but doing it my own way. And I'm gonna continue to adapt as I do this. But I'm not gonna stop doing these things. But yeah, supplemental income. These are not things you can put on your resume. But I know a lot of people that make a lot of money doing like supplemental income. Like when it would snow, it doesn't snow as much anymore. It's a little bit of climate change, you know. So they'd go to the local mountains and they would change chains for people. They'd put on chains for people, and some people have made like $500 in a whole day doing that. And they were having fun. It was just something they were doing on the side, but that's not really something you can put on your resume that I put chains on somebody's car. But now everything's become more regulatory. I don't think you can even do that anymore. Like there's just so much regulation, unless you're in San Bernardino where they kind of leave it alone, and then some guy starts up a nighttime taco stand, and what are they gonna do? Because they're not like, it was pretty popular, but I was just finding that funny because I don't know, like, but I guess the health department's not gonna be out at midnight cruising Sierra Way to inspect some guy's little taco stand, but he had a lot of business, I'm telling you. So could he put that on his resume that he had some clandestine taco stand? I don't know. Probably not. Like, is everything, look, I'm not saying you should do that because I don't do that. Personally, I just do things like social media based myself. But what I'm trying to say is, like, what if you just rake somebody's lawn? What if you get paid to help somebody with a paper? Like little supplemental things. Like, it's kind of looked down upon, I think, in our culture, like doing anything supplemental. People look down upon it. They're like, well, why would they want to do that? But that's always been how my mind worked. Like, I always liked doing supplemental things, and it really, like, it supplements my more homebody, my more introverted mindset, that in my free time, I don't want to be out, like, hustling. I don't want to be out doing this and that. I do like talking to people, but I want to do it in my own way. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to go out and try and be in a sales position or some sort of corporate position, because, like, honestly, if you have a history degree, they want you to teach, and if you don't want to teach, like I don't know, I'm not going to go into it, but if you don't want to teach, like, with my type of degree that I have, like, your options are kind of limited. So, like, I would do a research position, that I would be happy doing, and doing things like that. But in my free time, I don't want to spend my free time, like, I don't know, like, looking for some sort of corporate or any other kind of position that would require a lot of driving. Just, I still enjoy doing art, and now, like, hair became a big thing for me. But I'll tell you why hair became a big thing for me. When I was younger, I didn't have as long of hair as I do now. My hair wasn't as long as it is now, but just learning more things about how to care for long hair has enabled me to grow my hair longer. And anybody can grow their hair longer, maybe not as long as I have or as long as some other people have, but it is possible, because when I was younger, my hair wasn't this length. Like, I had, like, maybe medium thick hair, but my hair did thicken up over the years just because I took better care of it. And I think one thing for me is, you know, long hair looks really pretty when you wear it down, but I don't wear it completely loose anymore. Because if you're out and about, it will get tangled, and the more times you have to detangle your hair, the more times your hair is prone to breakage. So even though it looks super pretty, I reserve a lot of my long, loose hair for this channel or for my website or when I'm talking about hair. But on my daily life, people who see me in day-to-day life, they haven't seen my hair loose more than 2 or 3 times a year, because it just doesn't happen. Because once my hair got longer than I guess like tailbone length, like it was just becoming harder. And I always used to keep my hair in a braid anyway. Like it would be very rare. Like 5 years ago, somebody asked me the other day, like, how long did it take you to grow out your hair? Well, it's been a gradual thing. Like I said, when I was younger, I had long hair up until I was about 20. It was probably about tailbone length, but it wasn't as thick as it is now, because honestly, I didn't trim it all the time. I wore it loose all the time. I didn't keep it in a braid so it'd be more protected. So I did braid it occasionally, but I think I just learned on my own that braiding was so protective, because my hair wasn't loose, it wasn't getting tangled, and I don't want to be constantly brushing my hair all day. That's the thing, like a lot of women, they're constantly having to redo their hair throughout the day. Like it goes up and down and all sorts of styles, and I don't want to do that. Like I'm not saying, I will re-braid my hair sometimes throughout the day, but I like to have one style in all day. Like I do my hair styling, and then it's locked in for the day. And for me, that is to prevent tangling, and just because the more you manipulate your hair, the more times it's prone to breakage. So that's one thing that has really helped me grow my hair long, and that's something that I've come to want to share on this channel, because long hair is popular. People are more interested in it. It's about, hair care, but these are things I've learned on my own. I'm not certified to share the hair care. A lot of certified people are actually against people that share natural hair techniques. They say that you shouldn't promote anything in your kitchen to put on your hair. You keep hearing that a lot lately. Like people say, no, you shouldn't put anything in your kitchen in your hair because it might give you a hair infection. What are these people talking about? Like, you're going to get a hair infection from what women have done in India for centuries by putting coconut oil in their hair or coconut milk in their hair and henna? That's going to give you a hair infection? So all these chemicals, like, look, one thing I have been thinking about lately is I probably should, in the future, when I buy more shampoos and conditioners, I do want to get a little bit more of healthier ones. But the reason I always say you can buy shampoo on a budget, because honestly, not everybody can afford the more expensive ones, but I do from time to time buy the better ones, and they're probably in general better for your hair, to be honest with you. Yes, of course they are. But I just think at the end of the day, not everybody can afford that. So like, I like to go for a mid-price alternative, which is Palmer's. But my favorite organic ones were like Everyday Coconut at Sprouts. Maybe I'll buy that one next time. I want to maybe buy some stuff at Sprouts and share that. So I'm so passionate right now. But do you think I could share any of this stuff on hair? Because I couldn't share this on my resume that I like long hair, and I like to share how to grow long hair. Do you think anybody in Southern California gives a whoop-de-doo that some woman, well, maybe people who like long hair, but the general populace that's interested in like going to a hairstylist, they don't give a whoop-de-doo about me. I mean, people will ask me how my hair grew so long as a conversation piece on the reg. Like, people think my hair's fake. A lot of people ask me if my hair is real. So in a way, it's funny that things that you know about, you can't put on your resume. I can't put on my resume that I know how to do this or that I like to draw, because I didn't get a credential or a teaching certificate in drawing. And the only time you can put these things on your resume is if you're qualified to teach them. Or you can't, so this is why I'm more into doing my supplemental interest in things on the side, because I want to do a few things that bring me joy, that maybe make me some supplemental income, but I don't feel like I have to justify that to everybody. I don't feel like my resume being top notch is gonna give me more social credence. I don't know. I just want to make enough money to have a comfortable life. That's my end goal right now, and it might not always be super steady, but I have a vision, and I'm feeling pretty strong in it right now. And when I get on these visions, every time somebody tells me no, I shouldn't go with this, I'm not going to be sharing it with people anymore. Well, I'll talk about it here a little bit, but I'm not going to tell anybody else my thoughts on it. So I'm just going to be pushing on myself, like doing things that I think to improve my websites, to try and work on art more. And I can't say this is going to be 100% consistent, but guess what? Like if you're a small business owner, is that 100% consistent? A lot of these got replaced by big box stores. Like how many little hardware stores are still around, or little mom and pop restaurants, like which probably make really good food, but a lot of people will go to the big chain restaurant instead because they recognize that name. So nothing's guaranteed, but I think I'd rather spend my time doing something that brings me joy than, I don't know, bolstering my resume. I guess I think about things differently than other people. Other people are just very much focused on, I don't know, like they want it to sound like, look, I think that's really good if you want to be respected in the academic world or the business world, but I guess those weren't really my motivating factors when I was young. I just wanted to learn about history and I wanted to know more about it and I was interested in it. I don't think I ever wanted anybody to recognize me as an expert on things. I'm kind of odd in a way, like just very introverted in a way. I just want to learn more things and I always want to be curious about the world and like share these things, like because it brings me joy, not because, oh my gosh, like I don't know, I never saw myself becoming a historian though. I think I just want to make a livelihood for myself. Like this is my end goal. Just pay the bills as a supplemental income and have fun and do things like sharing hair or sharing my knowledge on other topics. But having like this top-notch career, top-notch resume, it's not like a motivating factor for me. It just isn't. And that's the true, legit me, like when I'm super happy, like expressing more of my introverted self in that sense. Like I guess, like, look, honestly, to me, having enough money to pay the bills is just good. And then after that, I don't want to worry about much else because, you know, if you want to, whatever makes you happy, I just know that that's what makes me happy at the end of the day. Like, I just have to go with my own personal, like, take on these things, you know? But yeah, I didn't even get to brushing my hair, did I? Because I went off on this little rant. So yeah, I'm just like, talking. But yeah, those are my takes on the whole career thing. And like, for instance, if you're a YouTube influencer, can you put that on your resume? I guess you can, but probably not. I mean, I don't know. It goes back to this thing that I didn't really get. Okay. All these people were like, well, if you have this 9-to-5 job and you have this, your resume's so good, but they would go and they would get mad at somebody that was an influencer for living their life and not doing what they were doing. And to me, I always thought that was so odd. It's like they wanted everybody else to be, I don't know, living the same kind of life they were, but they didn't sound happy, because if they were so happy doing their 9-to-5 job and not like being an influencer, why did they care that somebody was on YouTube being an influencer? It didn't make any sense, right? I should have been more careful right there because I feel like I pulled out my hair. I don't know. So anyway, that's just my take on it. There's not a lot of things, like there are things you do in life that you can't put on your resume. It's not all about your flip-flop resume. Like everybody's like, my resume this, my resume that. Oh, this looks good. Somebody thinks that looks so good. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying your resume doesn't matter. Of course it does, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that do side gigs, that make enough money to live, be happy, and they're not always so obsessed about how their resume looks. Like, you know, all these people I know, they might do some side gigs, things to make extra money, and they can afford like a modest livelihood. Okay, they're not doing what everybody else is doing. They're not living this high rolling life, But then again, at the end of the day, there are people that are happy doing that, but a lot of people aren't. Anybody that tells you that you need to start doing something differently, that you're not happy, is projecting. You know, that's projection, and I don't even care. Like, when somebody goes to that territory, I just kind of, like, I draw a blank on them, because I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to say anything back to them. I'm just like, that's the line for me, though. Like, when somebody does that, they have zero to none of respect for me, and I'm like, okay, I can't explain my life to you, and I don't want to, because I want to live for myself and not for you. Like, I want to do things that make me happy and enjoy every minute of my life. So yeah, this last week I've kind of been doing that. But anyway, I didn't start brushing my hair, but these are just my little thoughts for the day. Thanks for watching.